Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. I am just getting my settings together and we're going to go ahead and get started. Just give me 1 second. I'm going to go ahead and get started in just a few seconds. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Let me see. All right. All right. Good morning, everybody. How you doing? We're going to go ahead and get this process started. So forgive me. I'm not at my actual desk. So sharing and doing all of these settings and all that, just give me a second. It's going to take me a little while to get used to it, but we're going to make it work. Oh, it's all good. Thank you. Not a problem. I'm glad I was able to send it. I just want people to kind of just understand, typically whenever people purchase the Legacy Builder, I typically give that 4 to 6 week timeline. The challenge is sincerely the operating companies. It's not the companies in Wyoming. The companies in Wyoming, those are pretty easy. We can get those knocked out in a matter of days. It's always the operating company that always kind of hangs us up a little bit, just because every state is different. So, for the most part, I just want people to know, like, just bear with us, be patient. I promise we're working extremely hard to get a lot of this stuff done for you in a timely manner. And plus, I'm in the process of actually training new people, going through that, making sure that we actually have the right staff, realizing that I needed, maybe an onboarding coordinator that can potentially help, give that personalized touch. So a lot of things that we're doing to just try to, manage it. So I definitely appreciate everybody's patience. And honestly, the email did stem from, it's just too many comments. Too many comments about fraud and scam. And I take those extremely personal. I hate it when people's first reaction is to say, did I get scammed? I get it. It's just, you can't, yeah. Anyway, I don't want to go down that road, but nevertheless, I'm glad I was able to kind of get that out there, and hopefully people kind of, check the emails and stuff, et cetera, et cetera. So anyway, good morning. So we still are early. We still have another 5 minutes. So we're just going to wait for another 5 minutes before I actually get started. I can't wait to share some news. So this whole TikTok ban, whatever the case is, good morning. It's actually continuing to just validate that at any point, you could, information that you're trying to share could actually be hindered. So it's important for just us as individuals, when we come across information, it's important that, we definitely do all that we can to try to make sure that we don't miss out on opportunities. So I'm grateful that I think I'm supposed to be able to get access again on the 16th. But, I'm grateful for those who continue to support, continue to show up. And I'm going to do everything I can to get this message out. And it's funny how when one door opens, it definitely proves the importance of an email list, 1000%. And we are in the process of setting it. So today, I signed up with a company called Webinar Jam, start doing webinars as I intended to. So today we're going to be doing some training on that. We kind of got part of it already set up, but I'm going to definitely be pushing the webinars so that way I can actually get people's direct contact information. So, again, people can check their emails and we can kind of manage things from there. So about 3 more minutes, we're going to go ahead and get started. I know this is going to be new for some people, but I was actually, I got on TikTok this morning, and Robert Scott, he he had about 100 and something people in the room, told him to kind of come. So we'll see. We'll see if we get a good turnout. If we do, we do. We don't, we don't. I'm still going to do what I do. I'm still going to present the information. Nothing's going to change about that. Good morning, Vince. Good morning, good morning, good morning. And for those that don't know, if you haven't seen the email yet, I woke up this morning, again, didn't even think twice about it. I woke up this morning, as I always do, check emails and stuff like that. And lo and behold, I got an email from Stripe. Oh, you just came from his room just now. Good deal. I got an email from Stripe, and lo and behold, Stripe has struck again. Okay, I'm going to be talking about the LLCs in just a second. I promise you. We're set to start exactly at 8 o'clock, so I'm going to give it another 2 minutes. Robert Scott sent you here. Y'all are going to be in good hands. We're going to probably be on about an hour, no more than about an hour and a half. And this is all for educational purposes, to kind of give you some real insight into the business structures, et cetera, et cetera. I am not in, I'm going to talk about it. Stripe is a payment processing company. I am not at my home office. I'm actually at my other home in Louisiana, in the living room, kind of setting up, trying to make some adjustments. I was typically supposed to be at the wedding venue this morning, but anyway, we're adjusting. We are adjusting, and we're going to make it happen. So anyway, for those that don't know me, my name is Dwayne Williams. I sit in the CEO chair of Mac Enterprise Consulting, and I run a full service business consulting firm where I teach people about business structures. I teach people the steps on how to open a business and the things to be successful. I also run a tax office, and I own a number of other businesses. Good morning. Good morning. And my goal is to help educate people. And the reason why I got on this journey is because I used to have a whole bunch of LLCs, and listening to what people say on the internet. They tell you that if you want funding, go get an LLC, go to get an EIN number. Thank you. I don't know how to actually make you a mod. Let me see how I can do that. Add as moderator. Got it. Got it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Jay. I just figured out how to do it. Thank you. You're amazing. I really appreciate that. Good looking on that one. So anyway, so I just teach people based on my experiences. So just to let you know that I'm no different than the average person. When I thought about opening a business, I did exactly what everybody else do. I go get an EIN number. I go get good morning, and I go get a LLC, and I'm just doing what all the people on the internet say do, right? And in fact, I used to open a lot of people. I used to help a lot of people open LLCs and all of that good stuff until one day, every time that I wanted to go get funding, it always was dependent upon my social security number, and I just couldn't understand it. And one day I applied for a loan with the SBA, and I got approved for about a little over $1.1 million. I got approved for the loan, but I never got it. I never got it because the SBA couldn't get my tax transcripts and things of that nature. And to make a long story short, I ended up contacting the White House. I ended up contacting my governor, the senator, every, major agency. I ended up sending an email to CNN and ABC News because I just felt like the SBA was actually mistreating me. I felt like, just like anything else, it was being maybe because of the color of my skin or whatever the case is. And it was never that. The White House sent me an email in June of 2022 and said that we're going to go ahead and look into this on your behalf. And lo and behold, the SBA contacted me back. And when the SBA contacted me back, they told me that, they see my tax return, but they couldn't issue. they couldn't get the tax transcripts because the IRS said that my taxes were sitting in what's called an unpostable file, which means that they couldn't post my taxes to my account. So lo and behold, once I figured out what the issue was, it was because I was actually a LLC trying to file my taxes as a corporation because they allow you to do that. Never happened, never got the loan. Exactly 1 year after being told no, in June of 2023, I was approved for $1.4 million. Why? Because in October of 2022, I opened what was called Magnolia Springs Property Group, which is my real estate investment trust. And I was able to go get $1.4 million. Right after that, in September of 2023, they increased the whole deal to $1.9 million. And when the bank asks for two people to co-sign on the deal, I was able to actually give them my companies and not me. Why? Because my companies were now structured as corporations, and corporations are seen as people. I was never required to use my social security number. And I was also sued with my LLC because my name was on the document. A couple of years ago with one of my LLCs, I was entered into a merchant cash advance loan. This is where they make you pay daily and weekly payments. I defaulted on the loan because the company wasn't doing as much revenue anymore. So I couldn't pay the daily and weekly payments. They were supposed to adjust my payments. And lo and behold, those were predatory loans. And I couldn't get out of them. So they actually put a freeze on my Navy Federal bank account, et cetera, et cetera. And the reason why I was actually attached to it is because when we go back and we really look, this is where things start to change for people. If you go look at your EIN document right now, it will actually have your business name, LLC, and your name on it. Many people tell you that you are separated from your business when you have an LLC, and that is the biggest lie being told on social media. You are not separated from this business when you have an LLC, because most people believe that the words limited and liability are meant for them, and that's an untrue statement. So what I like to do is I like to actually walk people through the process of how, they end up in this position. And one of the things that I like to do is just walk people through this process. So I'm going to take you all from the beginning. The first thing that people do when they actually go get a business is they go get an EIN number. But they never go ask the IRS, do they need one? They never go ask the IRS, do you need one? And what the IRS basically says is, you will need an EIN if you answer yes to any of the following questions. And most people can't answer yes to these questions. Most people cannot answer yes to these questions because most people don't even know what an EIN stands for. An EIN is an employer identification number. An employer, good morning, an employer has employees. Employees are individuals that every single time that they receive a paycheck, they have taxes taken out of their checks, which consists of federal Social Security and Medicare. If you are not paying anyone and they have taxes taken out of their checks, they're not an employee, they're contractors. So if you're paying people with Cash App, Venmo, Zelle, PayPal, and all of that, that's just a contractor. It's not an employee. So the IRS says, look, do you have employees? The average person that has an LLC cannot answer yes. Do you operate your business as a corporation or partnership? Most people don't even know what that is because they're operating as a single member LLC. Do you file any of these tax returns? Employment, excise, alcohol, tobacco, and firearms? Do you withhold income? Do you withhold taxes on income other than wages paid to a non-resident alien, right? Those are individuals that are have green cards. Do you have a retirement plan or a pension plan, or in other words, a KEO plan? And last but not least, are you involved in a trust and estate, real estate, mortgage, investment conduit, nonprofit, farmers co-op, or a plan administrator? The average person can't answer yes to these questions. So they automatically assume that they still qualify for an EIN, and you don't. because the IRS says you're going to need one if you answer yes to any of these questions, right? So now what happens is the train of thought says, well, the EIN separates me from the business. And that's also an untrue statement, because when you go to the process, when you go through the process of getting an EIN number, we don't read at all. But the IRS says, look here, when you apply for an EIN number, I'm going to go through the process of beginning the application. The average person doesn't take into account that you are applying for a federal EIN number for a business structure that is only recognized by the state. A limited liability company is a structure allowed by state statute. You are going to apply for a federal EIN number for a business that is only recognized at state level. So what happens is, since the LLC is only recognized by the state, the LLC cannot pay federal income taxes. So since the LLC cannot pay federal income taxes, somebody has to be responsible for that business's income. Guess who that person is? You. And it gets even worse. The average person on social media believes that whenever they go open a business, that business is a separate entity. You are an entity, and that business is an entity. And unfortunately, whenever you select a limited liability company, the IRS says it right here. You have chosen a limited liability company, what it is and what it's not. LLCs are not incorporated. What does it mean to be incorporated? Well, according to the Internal Revenue Service, a business is incorporated when it has been granted a charter legally, recognizing it as a separate entity. So the fact that it's not legally recognized as a separate entity, that means what? You are going to have to be attached. It's that simple. Nothing more, nothing less. So now when we further go on to understand the paper trail, what is the one thing that all people, when it comes to business, the one thing that they always ask about? Taxes. And no one starts to connect these dots. Whenever you go file your taxes, you file your taxes on an individual income tax return, Form 1040. That's where you file your taxes. The IRS says, look, tell me your name, tell me your spouse's name, all that good stuff. But when we get to the income section of that tax return, the IRS says, look, on line 1, tell me about the amount of money that you made from your W-2. This is where you have a 9 to 5. They pay you, taxes are taken out, and they give you a W-2 at the end of the year. But if you scroll down just a little bit further, on line 8, it says additional income from Schedule 1, line number 10. Cool. So I'm going to go to the Schedule 1. And what the IRS is asking for is for us to report any additional income that we may have made. So whenever we pull up the Schedule 1, it says additional income and adjustments to income. I'm going to make it just a little bigger so that way you can see. On line 3, it says business income or loss. Attach the Schedule C. Cool. Let's go see what the Schedule C says. Now, this whole time, you were telling everybody that you have an LLC. Not a problem. But remember, it's only recognized by the state. Whenever the IRS asks you to report the income, it says profit or loss from business. You are a sole proprietorship. What is a sole proprietorship? A sole proprietor is a person who is the exclusive owner of a business that is entitled to keep all profits after tax has been paid. but liable for all losses. The definition of liable is to be responsible by law and legally answerable. So in other words, whenever you report that business's income on a Schedule C, the IRS says you own that business by yourself. So it doesn't matter how much income that business has. It doesn't matter how many expenses that business has. At the very bottom, if you have a net profit or a loss, you are supposed to place that number back on the Schedule 1, Form 1040, line number 3. So when I go back to the Schedule 1 and I place the business income on line number 3, line number 5 says, by the way, if you have partnership income or S Corp income, either way, all of this is your additional income. You have to take all of those numbers, and then on line 10, it says combines lines 1 through 7 and 9. This is your additional income. Enter here and on Form 1040, line number 8. So when I go back to my personal tax return and I place business income on line 8 of my personal tax return, the IRS is saying I'm responsible for that business's income. So when a bank asks you, or a creditor, or a credit card company, when they ask you, hey, I need to see your business documents, you give them an EIN document that has your name on it. When it asks you for the business income, you give them your individual personal tax return. So naturally, if that business is sued, they come into you. It's that simple. There's only one structure that allows you to be completely separated from that business. There's only one structure that allows you to do that. And that is when you have a corporation. Because why? When we go back to get an EIN number for a corporation, the IRS says a corporation is nothing more than a person. And because the IRS says a corporation is a person, when you go look at the EIN document for a corporation, look at the difference. One EIN document has your name on it. Another one does not. So if I was going to ask you, which one would you take in the court of law? The one that had your name or the one that doesn't? Chances are you would probably take this one, the one that doesn't have it. If I asked you if you needed business funding, which document you want to give to the bank, would you want to give them this one? Or would you want to give them that one? It's real simple. The reason why people are intimidated by the corporation is because they don't know. They don't know. You have no idea what it means. Well, Dwayne, I heard that you have to make a certain amount of money to become a corporation. How much money did you have to make to become an LLC? At no point at the Secretary of State or at the IRS level, whenever you open a business, nowhere on their application does it ask you how much money do you make. Do you know why? Because they are under the assumption that you don't make any money yet. They still give you the power to choose. You just chose LLC because what you really paid attention to was the word limited and liability. But if you take a deeper look into what those words mean, here's what it says. The definition of limited is to be restricted in size, amount, or extent, few, small, or short. The definition of liability. The state of being responsible for something, especially by law. But here's where it gets good. You're running that business by yourself. Liability also means a person or a thing whose presence or behavior is likely to cause embarrassment or to put one at a disadvantage. The LLC was never meant for you. It was never, ever, ever meant for you. And you know why I can boldly say that? It's because when we go ask the IRS everything about what an LLC is, here's what the IRS tells you. Owners of an LLC are called members. Owners is plural. That means more than one. Member is plural. That means more than one. The intent was never for you by yourself. It was never meant for that at all. In the average person, and go ahead and say this. If you ever hear somebody call a LLC a limited liability corporation, run and don't look back. How are you overcharged? This is definitely not the platform for that. Please send an email. I don't know how you were overcharged for it. I'll be more than happy to look into it. If you ever hear somebody call it a limited liability corporation, run. There is no such thing. It's called a limited liability company. These are some of the things that the average person just doesn't know when it comes to, yeah, it's like, where did they get that from? It's called a limited liability company. There is no such thing. Now, the key is understanding that. Let me go ahead and pull something up for you. There is a method to actually running a business, right? There is a set of things that you can do, but you have to make sure that you're doing it in that order, right? Making sure that you have a business plan, making sure that you have that business has its own identity, et cetera, et cetera. Because when you register that business at the Secretary of State, the Secretary of State is a public database, right? The public, whenever you put the business information in a public database, it actually, you put in your home information there. You should never do that, right? That business should always be separated. That business should always be separated. And then you want to make sure that that business has a brand. We just had an amazing class on Tuesday about branding, setting up business credit, bookkeeping, et cetera, et cetera. This is actually the journey to success. This is the steps that you need to take to actually fix your business. So if you have an LLC, all isn't lost. Now, I said that I want to share something with you all, and I want to start from the end. So if we can, just bear with me, and then I'll get into a lot of the questions that you have in a little bit. So this morning when I woke up, I always check emails and things of that nature. And I'm going to pull up my email account real quick. So I'm looking, minding my business, and I got an email from Stripe Capital. And now, mind you, I'm not paying any attention to it because I'm not expecting anything. So I go onto the email and I click Stripe Capital. Lo and behold, Stripe has struck again. They now offered me yet another loan. And I cannot make this up when I tell people, you might want to jump on this. You might want to jump on this sooner rather than later. So naturally, the first thing that I do after I read this email is I go log onto my Stripe account. And for those that don't remember, when I have a master class that for those that don't know, I have a master class that I offer people that teaches people a lot of this stuff, right? I used to have my master class where people can access my master class on my on my website. But because people were having issues accessing it, I placed my masterclass on a different website, um, in a different platform. And as soon as I did that, Stripe created me a new Stripe account 4.5 months ago. And I'm going to log on and let you see it. So naturally, when somebody signs up for my masterclass, again, Stripe basically just created a totally different account. I don't know why they did it. I didn't ask them to do it. That's what they did. So me not thinking twice about it, for the last 4.5 months, people have just been buying the masterclass. Well, look what happened when I log on. Mac Enterprise Incorporated _HB. I put that HB for heartbeat, can get up to $22,000 in funding. So I'm like, well, wait a minute. Like, I knew this was potentially an opportunity for it to happen. So which made me realize that essentially you can actually have a business, you can have a website, and you can actually have a product or service that people purchase through another platform. Stripe will go ahead and give you another account. So for those that don't know, Stripe just gave me on October 14th, 30 days ago, Stripe just gave me an additional $87,000. That was the second loan in 6 months. So now they gave me another loan. Now, before I get into the loan and all that good stuff, I want people to understand, what is Stripe? Stripe is a payment processing company. What is a payment processing company? If you go to Walmart or Target, you have some groceries or whatever the case that you're buying, you get to the checkout line and it's time for you to make a payment. Whenever you take your debit or credit card out, you slide your debit or credit card into a little black machine at the register, and that black machine processes your payment. Stripe is a payment processing company. And what Stripe allows you to do, Stripe allows you to go ahead and get funding, all because you're processing payments. And I'm going to show people how to do that in a little bit. But I'm starting this way and working my way backwards. So again, I didn't do anything different. I didn't say anything. I didn't reach out to Stripe. All I did was got an email, and lo and behold, when you click on that, this is what it's going to show. And I intentionally am leaving this like this for a second, because I want people to just see it for themselves, right? I want you to see it for yourself. You're pre-qualified for financing up to $22,000. How it works, they tell you everything, right? Apply in minutes. If your application is approved, funds are deposited into your account as soon as the next business day. You pay one fixed fee over time, the total amount you owe, et cetera, et cetera. Repay it automatically through your sales. This is important. So for example, right now they're saying that I qualify for this account for $22,000. My repayment rate is 20% per transaction. Basically what this is saying is, this is the percentage of each transaction that will be deducted automatically to pay back your loan. So anytime a customer makes a payment to you, they will take 20% or whatever the case is. But look what happens if I say that I want a lower amount. Watch the repayment rate drops. I'm going to say I want 10,000 or 9,700. You see, it went from 20% to 8.6%. Even if I say, Dwayne, just get 5,000, it goes to 4.6%, right? They give you the option. You don't have to take the whole amount. They give you the option to go ahead and choose from. But they're telling you what it is. Expected duration, 8 to 10 months. This is a short-term loan, right? Now, I'm going to get out of this because I don't want, actually, I can go right here. It says right here, view FAQs. Good. It gives me the option. I want y'all to see it for yourself. How it works. Stripe offers financing for eligible users processing payments through Stripe. Stop. They ain't say nothing else. Process payments. That's it. But I want you to pay attention to this right here. Applying for financing through Stripe Capital doesn't require a personal credit check. You never in life have to give you a social security number. They will never check your credit. Ever. Now, what's interesting is, and this is where I want y'all to see it, I'm going to go to the eligibility criteria. For months, I've been telling people, according to Stripe, they take 9 months, because this is what they say. Process payments for 9 months. To some people, that's a long time. But Stripe always monitors your account. I was under the impression, and I cannot lie, I was under the impression that they start monitoring your account at the 6-month mark, because that's what they did for me previously. However, what I've learned this morning was this, that is an untrue statement. Even though they say it takes 9 months on their platform, what I want y'all to do, I'm going to go to reports. And I'm going to click balance summary. I'm going to click right here, year to date. They started June 17th is when I first started using them. When I first connected this account was June 17th of this year. However, my first payment with Stripe, because I downloaded every payment that came in because I wanted to see for myself. My very first payment with Stripe was July 5th for $19. That was the first payment ever taken on Stripe, July 5th. So from July 5th until now, that's only 4 months in 27 days? 4 months and 27 days. They offered another loan. So let's do the math. Let's add it up. I'm going to go to my main Stripe account. And I'm going to show y'all how to do this in just a second, but I'm just giving context. Where am I going? Capital. The first loan that they ever gave me, May 26th of this year, $94,000. And for those that are new that's listening, in order to get approved for a Stripe loan, you have to be in good standings, which means that you cannot have any hold on any of your money coming in. October 3rd, a client disputed a transaction. And in the meantime, while the client disputed the transaction, Stripe placed a 10% reserve hold on my account, which means that they were going to hold 10% of my transactions to cover any disputed transactions. I had to go back and submit to them my refund policy and my dispute policy. And then on October 9th, once I submitted that, they removed the hold because I've satisfied their requirements. Then on October 14th, they issued me another loan of $87,000, right? So between May and October, less than 6 months, that was $182,000. But then just this morning, still less than 6 months. Now it's another $22,000. So realistically speaking, I've gotten $200,000 in less than 6 months. And not one time they ever checked my credit. Not once. And yet somehow, some way, this is being reported as fraud or a scam because I'm teaching people this strategy right here. Pay attention. This is where your life starts to change. If you want your life to change. I'm teaching people how to do business to business transactions by having a legacy builder set up. A legacy builder is where you have a foundation of companies, and each company serves a purpose. At the very bottom, you have the operating company. Above it is your parent company. Then you have a real estate investment trust, a holding company, nonprofit, and then you can get you a trust, right? This is the foundation of how all of your businesses should be set up, because all of these businesses are people. Now, there's a couple of different things that I kind of want to address before we get into how this works. Number one, I oftentimes hear people say, well, Dwayne, what about just going to get an S Corp? Well, I kind of made a new slide to kind of give you some visual context. The LLC is only recognized by the state. The S Corp is only recognized at the federal level and not recognized at the state. Neither the S Corp or the LLC covers both state and federal. The only structure that covers state and federal is the corporation, because the corporation is seen as a person. So for all of the people who say, well, I have me an S Corp. No, you don't have you an S Corp. You only file taxes as an S Corp. According to the state, you're still an LLC. Period. And the reason why a lot of times people struggle with this is because they have been thinking like employees their entire life. As an employee, every single time you get a paycheck, you have to pay taxes first. And then after you pay taxes, then you are left to pay your bills with whatever's left. A corporation doesn't do that. A corporation makes money, pays their bills, and if they have money left, they pay taxes. There's a huge difference. A corporation will always fare better when it comes to taxes, liability, structure, and everything. And the reason why you are not taught this in school is because the world survives most when the majority of the world are working for someone else. I had a problem with Amex because I tried to send an invoice to one of my businesses from another business. I think the issue came up, both of the businesses are linked to my Amex. Now, quick question. Ooh, this is going to be so good. Thank you. Thank you for asking that question. You have a business Amex card? Yes or no? I'm laughing because this is actually going to be good. Thank you. Thank you for participating. Oh, this is actually going to be good. Kylan Kazoo. Maybe it's delayed. Do you have a business, American Express business card? Yes or no? And I don't know why it's delayed, but did I lose you? Are you still there? Okay, maybe she had a pop up. Okay. Not sure why, but okay. Oh, because the monetization, because I'm monetized now. So maybe because it's ads or whatever the case is. That could be it. Okay, so Miss the question about the American Express. If you are back, do you have a business American Express card? Yes or no? Or are you back? I know the answer to it. I just wanted her to kind of participate. So anyway, so let's go to the American Express thing. So what happens is she's had a problem with American Express because she tried to send an invoice to one of my businesses from another business. I think the issue came up. Both of my businesses are linked to Amex. This is why. This is why. Now, First and foremost, if anybody's trying to go get an American Express card or any type of business credit card, I know a lot of times people think that if you have an LLC and all that good stuff, you think that if you go get a business credit card, that, it's somehow separated from you. But remember what I told you? Let's go back to the source, right? If we go back to the source, you open a business account with an EIN that's tied to you. That's the source, right? So what's interesting is when you go try to apply for an American Express credit card, for a business credit card online, one of the first things that they're telling you is, here's the subliminal message. There is no impact on your personal credit score to learn if you are approved. Why are they talking about your personal credit if it's a business credit card? Like, why even mention that? If it's supposed to be separate, that should never be part of the conversation. But the sad part is, before they can even show you anything about the credit cards, they are letting you know. That's the subliminal message. So when you actually scroll down to go get a credit card, we're going to go ahead and read the terms and conditions. Here's the terms. Let's see if I can make this bigger. Here we go. By submitting this application, you, as an individual and the authorizing officer, are requesting to open an account in the name of the company, are requesting to issue cards as you direct, and are agreeing to be jointly in with the company for all the charges. The reason why is because it goes back to the source. Your name is attached to that EIN. That EIN, think about it. It's tied to you. It's a business that's only recognized by the state. Anytime that you apply online for a business credit card, you will always have to be attached. But look at the difference between that and a corporate card. This is the application and the checklist for a corporate American Express card. It goes down to ask you about the legal name of the company, right? It asks you for the tax ID. Look what it says: corporate phone number and corporate website. See how important a website is? How a business phone is? Business address. We will need additional details about your business headquarter location. It must be a physical address, no PO boxes. But let's go back to the authorized officer information. Remember, looking at the authorized officer, right? American Express defines an authorized officer as an officer, partner, or representative of the company with the authority to open the account in the company's name. Now, slow down. I'm on the terms and condition of the regular business credit card. It says, by submitting this application, you as the authorized individual and the authorizing officer, that means you and the business are both responsible. But on the corporate card, sorry, let me get back where I was at. On the corporate card, look when we had the authorizing officer, look at the information that it asks. It asks for your first name and last name. Date of birth. You don't see Social Security nowhere on there. Why? Because a corporation is a person by itself. It doesn't need you. Tis. So when we go back and look at how you can go ahead and, tap into securing funding for your business and never, ever have to use your social, we first got to get you out the way. We have to get you completely removed out the way. Setting up these companies to do business to business transactions. For example, if you sell lemonade, your lemonade company has a corporate office. Nothing more, nothing less. And for those that don't know what I'm talking about is this. A business to business transaction is an exchange of products, services, or information between two businesses. The reason why she encountered a problem with Amex is because she was tied to both, versus not being tied to either one and letting those businesses do business to business transactions. Is no different than whenever Walmart or McDonald's buys products from other companies. It's a business to business transaction. There is nothing that's saying that you can't do it. How can you speak with me one-on-one? You can schedule a consultation on my website. I'm going to get to that in just a second. So on my website, at the very top, you will see where it says home, services, consultations. You would select consultations. And the only way that you would speak to me specifically is if you select the business, if you select the consultation with CEO. All the other consultations, you'll be speaking to a member of my staff, which are qualified to answer any of your questions and walk you through the process, right? But if you want to talk to me specifically, you would have to schedule a consultation with the CEO. So my point is, if I have businesses doing business to business transactions, now if I have, and I wish I could move, I can't move my face. I'm learning YouTube. Anyway, when I have businesses doing business to business transactions, then if I let Stripe process the payments, I now put myself in position to actually go secure funding and never use my social. All because I'm literally putting things in place that ain't got nothing to do with me. MX business. Okay, you're just getting in. Yep. So how much of this did you miss? Because I went through the whole process of why that happened. Okay, you have an LLC? Okay, the reason why is because of this. What I shared with everyone is this. What people don't realize is whenever you go get an American Express business credit card, right? The first thing that on their website, it says there's no impact on your personal credit. There's no reason they should mention anything about your personal credit if you're applying for a business credit card that has nothing to do with you. But most people believe that until they get to this. The LLC will always be attached to you. So whenever you go look at the, is what it says. By or an authorizing officer or agreeing to be jointly and severely liable, connected to them both. But had you filled out a corporate card application, yep. Had you filled out a corporate card application, they would have never asked you for your social security number, and therefore you wouldn't have had a problem. You'd have never had a problem. It is all because people don't understand the difference between a corporation and just a regular business. It's two different things. A corporation is only a person. That's it. What I tend to do is just try to teach people a lot of these different things, and I help people in a lot of different ways, right? So I do offer classes. I have a master class that I help people that teaches people a lot of this stuff, right? And I'm running a Black Friday sale for those who don't know about it yet. I'm running a Black Friday sale on my master class for $199. Is it the same when you're opening a business checking under your corporation? Yes, they don't require a corporation is just a person. 100%. Your name won't be attached to it. You will just be listed as an authorized person to actually use the account, but you won't be the owner of that account. That corporation will be the owner of that account. So I do offer a masterclass. I have it on a Black Friday sale for $199. That masterclass consists of 6 videos. It's 6 videos where I teach for about an hour and a half long. It's a self-paced class. You have lifetime access to it. It teaches you why that journey to success is so important, how to write a business plan, the same business plan that got me $2 million. What an LLC is, it isn't, how to build business credit, how to get funding, how to build a legacy. But I also give you a number of ebooks to accompany that masterclass to kind of help you to learn every piece of it step by step, right? How to build your business, the business plan template, all that good stuff. And for some of you all that was listening to Robert Scott on TikTok, he has been so gracious enough to allow me to offer his ebook, a part of my masterclass, the Black's Law Dictionary, Home Buyer's Handbook. So there's so much value for $199. I also have I have a master's degree in business. Nowhere in college did I learn any of this. So because I know that there are a lot of business owners that just don't know anything about how to be a business owner, I have a business owner university, if you will. We have 2 classes every month, and the tuition for that is $100 a month, and you learn how to become a business owner. No, what I really suggest you get, Phoenix Entrepreneur is what I'm about to show you next. This is what I really suggest that you get, is what I call the Legacy Builder. The Legacy Builder is where I set you up like this. This is what I really suggest that everybody get. The Legacy Builder is where we open up a set of companies for you that allow you to do business to business transactions, but all of these companies serve a purpose. Yes, CJ Johnson. All of these companies serve a purpose. For example, why would I recommend that you go get a holding company? Because 2 things. Number 1, I would recommend that you get a holding company in the state of Wyoming because Wyoming doesn't have a corporate income tax. That's number 1. Wyoming is also what's called a closed state. That means it conceals the identity of the people who own the business. That means that anytime that somebody goes search that business in Wyoming, they would never find your name. It's a closed state. I also recommend that people go, open a real estate investment trust. Why? I also recommend a real estate investment trust. Why? Never purchase property underneath the LLC. Why don't you want to purchase property in an LLC? Because anytime that you purchase property in an LLC, guess whose name attached to it? You. You want to open property with a real estate investment trust. Why? A real estate investment trust is a company that owns, operates, or finances income producing real estate. It's a property management company. But real estate investment trusts are required to pay the money that they make back to the shareholder. How much are they required to pay? According to their rules, a real estate investment trust must pay 90% of their taxable income to the shareholder in the form of a dividend. So in other words, if you're a holding company, owns your real estate investment trust. Whenever your real estate investment trust makes money, your real estate investment trust has to pay back 90% of the money that it makes back to the holding company. Well, if the holding company sits in a state that don't have taxes, see the point? Understand. But again, it's all because of your structure. It's literally all in your structure. Corporations are seen as people, right? And then, yeah, your parent company is nothing more than your corporate office. Why do you want a parent company? Because you want to follow what successful companies do. Here's an example of that. We all know of the company called FedEx, but we never really think of FedEx any different than we see the FedEx truck. Nothing more, nothing less. But what we really don't understand is you see FedEx, but FedEx has broken up into multiple different entities that do business to business transactions with one another. It's really that simple. So the reason why I recommend people get the Legacy Builder is because why? The Legacy Builder is by far probably the most value for your dollar that you're going to get when you're doing business with me, sincerely. Because not only do we open up all of those companies for you, not only do I'm having a Black Friday sale where Again, when you purchase the legacy builder, I'm doing your first year's corporate tax returns. I'm going to talk to you about the BOI in a minute. The first year's tax returns for your corporations, that's included. But when you purchase the legacy builder, I also give you the masterclass that's included. I write you your first business plan. I give you access to the business owners university for a full year. That's included. And I get you a commercial lease agreement in Wyoming so you can take advantage of all the taxes. By far the most valuable thing. And I also offer payment plans for the legacy builder as well as payment plans for a number of other things. So when we're talking about dollar for dollar, the most valuable thing on my website is the legacy builder, because you get everything with it, depending on which legacy builder package you choose, right? So the masterclass I recommend for everybody. If you can't afford the legacy builder for whatever reason, if you can't afford the legacy builder, then I would definitely recommend take advantage of the Black Friday sale for the masterclass only of $199. And again, you know, I'm so excited, to be honest with you, that even though quote unquote TikTok banned me for a couple of days, I'm still able to get the message out. But more importantly, it's funny how when one door closes, it just shows you how when you're doing things the right way, I didn't even have to do anything in the world. All I did was went through the process, continue to believe in what it is that I'm teaching people. And to my surprise, all I did was logged on to Stripe, and there you have it. Stripe offering me more money. It just is what it is. It's just, and I'm very passionate about this subject because this is like one of those things where I know that opportunities like this won't always be around. And if you don't take advantage of these opportunities, you're going to find yourself on the outside looking in. And this information, I talk about it all the time. It all changes when your life begins to change when you change your structure. Now, I have a lot of questions about the BOI. What is the BOI? Let me go ahead and talk about it. The beneficial ownership form is a form that certain entities must fill out with the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network owners. What I want you to understand is the only purpose is to report financial crimes. Every business owner in America, come January 2025, every business, it doesn't matter how long you've been in business, every business owner will have to complete a beneficial ownership form. And that is just to stop money laundering, right? That is the purpose of just to stop money laundering. Strategy says, yes, I do help with business funding. Strategy says that I'm trying to figure out how to say this. Once you have all of your businesses set up properly, and I mean you have everything set up properly, where we don't need your name for nothing ever in life, the beneficial ownership form becomes a moot point. Because why? Everything is going to be rolled up to the holding company. I invited new people. Please break down the structure, including the nonprofit. Okay, not a problem. The nonprofit, the reason why I recommend people get a nonprofit is because of this. Charitable contributions. In most cases, the IRS, the amount of charitable cash contributions a taxpayer can deduct on the Schedule A is limited to 60% of the taxpayer's adjusted gross income. In other words, here's what this means. You make $100,000. The most that you can contribute to a charitable cause is $60,000. However, qualified contributions are not subject to this limitation. You can deduct qualified contributions of up to 100% of your adjusted gross income. In other words, you can donate all of your money to charity as long as it's a qualified contribution. A qualified contribution is one that is made to a qualified organization. What is a qualified organization? A qualified organization is a community chest, a corporation, a trust, a fund, or a foundation. It will never be an LLC. I can do a conversion for you. To structure the LLCs, I can do a conversion for you. We can do LLC to corp conversions for you. I do have a Black Friday sale on that as well. So the purpose of the nonprofit is so that way you can use it for charitable causes. There's no rule that said you couldn't own the charity. So you can essentially take all your money and donate it to nonprofit. Just because you have a nonprofit organization, that doesn't mean that the nonprofit organization is not a business. It still operates. For example, my nonprofit hires my tax office. That's a business-to-business transaction. My nonprofit hires my consulting firm to do business things. That's a business-to-business transaction. My nonprofit hires my landscaping company, et cetera, et cetera. So the whole purpose of the nonprofit is so that way you can actually use it to your advantage. So that way you can reduce your tax liability. As I mentioned, the holding company is what you need to hold all of your assets. Don't go try to go get no trust. Go get a holding company. Let your holding company own all of your assets. Then you place your holding company in an irrevocable trust. The real estate investment trust, as I mentioned, is a property management company. The real estate investment trust is the one thing that you're going to use for all of your business addresses. So instead of going to Da Vinci, instead of going to Regis or, Opus or all these places to rent a virtual address, let your real estate investment trust go rent the address you rent from the real estate investment trust. If you're going to use a virtual office, right? Let your real estate investment trust. Why? Because the real estate investment trust is a property management company. The property management company is required to pay 90% of all of the income back to the majority shareholder. If the majority shareholder is the holding company that sits in a state like Wyoming that does not have a corporate income tax, essentially what you're using as an expense in one company becomes income in another. Financial freedom at its finest. The parent company is layered for a corporate office, and the structure that I'm giving you is an example of how FedEx has it. See, when you go to file a complaint against FedEx office, you got to file it at FedEx Corporation. But what you didn't realize is whenever you go to ship a package at FedEx office does business with FedEx Logistics. FedEx Logistics does business with them. Please explain $1,000 rotation in the B2B. Okay. If you have an operating company, you sell lemonade. The name of the company is ABC Lemonade, but ABC Lemonade doesn't own the name. Just like FedEx office don't own the name FedEx. FedEx Corporation owns the name FedEx. So whenever you sell lemonade, you have to pay your corporate office to use the name ABC Lemonade because the corporate office owns it. It's just like if you purchase a McDonald's, you would have to pay McDonald's to use their name. Well, your corporate office address is 123 Happy Street. They don't own that address. They are renting it from who? Your property management company. Your property management company doesn't hold its assets. It pays a holding company to hold the assets. And then all four companies donate to Lemon Foundation. If you take $1,000 cash money right now and you go deposit it into your lemonade stand account, and again, I can't move my face, whatever the case is. I tried, I can't. But what I'm trying to get you to see is the lemonade company. Let me see if I can do this. It is what it is. The lemonade company has $1,000 in the account. The lemonade company gets an invoice from the corporate office it's time to pay the naming fee. So you use Stripe to process the payment, and now the corporate office has $1,000. The corporate office receives an invoice from the property management company because the property management company says it's time to pay the rent. You process that payment using Stripe. Now the property management company has $1,000. The property management company receives an invoice from the holding company in the same cycle over and over. When you do that, 5 times in 1 month, that means that each company processes $5,000 a month. Stripe says that they're going to give you a loan based on your financial projections and what you've done over the past 9 months, right? So if we take, and I'm gonna do something a little different today. So here's what I'm gonna do. Watch. So if we do $5,000 times 9, that's $45,000. If you divide the $45,000 by 2, because they're going to give you half of what you process, that means each company would technically get a loan for $22,500. You multiply that times 4 companies, you turn the $1,000 deposit into a $90,000 loan because you got 4 companies. And again, and I'm glad you asked that question, because I'm not telling you anything that I have heard. I am now collectively, in the last 6 months, I am on my 4th loan. I've literally gotten, if I accept this $22,000 that they just offered me this morning, I've literally gotten over $200,000 in less than 6 months. Legitimately, because the other 2 that I got, let me go over here. So they offered me $22,000 now. And I'm going to do the math in a second. I'm in my other Stripe account. I'm going to click the word capital. $94,600. $94,600. $204,000. $204,000, and I ain't never used my social security number one time. I can't make it up, yo. And I know this seems weird. I know it seems like this can't be real. How else to explain it? I don't know what else to do. I share my accounts. I share everything. I don't know what else to do to prove to people that this is legitimate. Hey. And Fatima, the one who just logged in, she's on her 6th loan. I don't know what else to tell people and show people. I log into my accounts. I let you see the terms and conditions. To me, it should be a slam dunk for people. I know that there's some, I don't know what else to do. For TikTok to stop me because they're saying that I'm trying to promote some sort of pyramid scheme. Anyway. Yeah. I took it as a compliment that they stopped me from, they banned me for a couple of days. I really did. I took it as a compliment. Thank you. I'm doing something right. Why invoice customers instead of taking Cash App? You don't want to take Cash App, because here's what Stripe tells you. Watch. Cash App is not going to give you this type of money. But here's what Stripe says. Bring more processing volume onto Stripe. Our underwriting model is based on the payment volume that you process on Stripe. Shifting transaction volume from other payment sources onto Stripe increases your overall Stripe processing volume. In other words, when people owe you money, send them an invoice. It benefits you for using Stripe. Now, here's the other part what's the payment? What do you mean? Here's the benefit, right? And I'm glad somebody asked this question. And I wanted to share this with you all. Because somebody is always asking about the fees. Yeah. So again, Phoenix, you can use I use $1,000 as an example, to be honest with you. You can use any denomination, right? Because let me share with you. This $22,000, believe it or not, that they approved me for, look, I broke it down. In 4 months, my average transaction was $200. So the way it works is if you're going to process a smaller amount of money, you have to do more transactions. I'm going to say it again. I've processed 127 transactions a month, but they were low transactions. Look, I'm going to scroll up. The average transaction, $19, $4.99, $19, $4.99, $19, $4.99. You see what I'm saying? It's not even $1,000 yet. So what I learned by them making that offer this morning was real simple. If I'm going to use a lower denomination, I got to process more payments. If I use a higher denomination, I don't have to process a lot of payments. So, which again, for me, I'm really looking over the course of 4 months. I averaged $14,000 a month. So what I did was I went into shit. I'm gonna show it to you right here. Hold on. Wait, don't go nowhere. Don't you go nowhere. Right there. While I'm about to pull something up for you. I went on to ChatGPT this morning and I said, hey, Chat, look at the data that I pulled up. Let me see something real quick, right? So here's what ChatGPT said. If I average, so here's the base. I was at over 4.5 months. I averaged $14,000 a month. So if I did 4 transactions a month, then that means each transaction would have to be $3,600. 5 transactions, 10 transactions, you know what I'm saying? So if I kept it at $1,000, I'm using it as an example. Let's just say I'm using that $1,000 per transaction. Then I would have to process 15 transactions. I would have to process 15 transactions at $981 to equal 14,000. That 14,000 gave me $22,000 in funding. You see what I'm saying? So you can essentially create it. And again, I didn't intentionally do 14,000. I just let that part of that particular Stripe account, I just let that Stripe account do what it was going to do regardless. You see what I'm saying? Like I didn't try to manipulate the number. I just took the transaction. So it let me know that, as a matter of fact, let me give you one even better. I'm talking. Hold on a second. Hold on. I'm coming. The overall point is, if I'm really honest, Stripe is a no-brainer for me. For me, Stripe is a no-brainer. Right? So I'm going to go back to year to date, and I'm going to let you see it. Because what I wanted to see was, what is it costing me to get $22,000? Realistically speaking, $3,900. Oh, I got commercials on. I don't know how to. Okay, I'll make sure that I take them off for next time. My bad. I'll make sure I take them off for next time. Again, I'm gonna figure out this. I'm gonna figure out the settings in a little bit. But basically, what is this costing me to get $22,000? Realistically speaking, through the Stripe fees, because everybody keep asking about Stripe fees, $3,900. I'll take that all day long. And that's the fees that, because Stripe charge you to use their platform, right? So if I make a transaction, Stripe is going to charge, 2% or whatever the percentage is, you know what I'm saying? But when I look at it at a high level, $3,900 is what it cost me to get 22. It's leverage. It's leverage. It's leverage. Because again, I look at it from a totality perspective. We're talking about a number of different companies. Y'all, literally $200,000 in less than 6 months. No tax returns, no bank statements, no business plan, no profit and loss statement, no balance sheet. Come on, y'all. Come on. Like, there's a lot of people that's teaching y'all funding. There's a lot of people that say, y'all, I used to charge $6,500 just to help somebody get an SBA loan. I'm when people call me for loans now, I am literally telling them, I don't recommend y'all go through that process anymore. And they're like, Dwayne, what do you mean? You the funding king. No, because everything always required the same run-of-the-mill things. Let me go ahead and set you up for life now. We ain't got to deal with that no more. Same thing. You can still do the same thing. You can use it for business transactions. You can do whatever you want with the money. Do you think they gave you the loan in 4 months because you already have history with them? No. No. I really believe, you know what, Azari, thank you for asking that question. You know what I think triggered it? Kid you not. That's what let me know Stripe is a computer. They based it off of that one account. That one account only was open in June. Here's what made me realize this is why they gave me the money. This right here. Tell me what you see. Let me show you something. Watch this. Hold on. Wait. Eligibility requirements, right? Watch what it says. Hold on. Let me go to eligibility. Watch this. Here's why I think they gave me the money. A growing business, a steady processing record. Here's why I think they gave me the loan. In 4 months. Look at it. First month, 19 transactions. Second month, 71 transactions. Third month, 203. Fourth month, 215. I think it's a computer. It's a computer. And the computer says, wait a minute. You went from 19 to 215. The computer sees it as a spike. That's what I think did it on everything. And the crazy part is, that's what let me know the amount of the transaction didn't matter. Look at my average transaction. Watch. This is going to be mind-blowing. The average transaction when I did 19 was $425. Look at the average transaction when I did 215, 93. I reduced the amount of the transactions, but I did more of them, which automatically, again, I'm into numbers. I'm into analytics. I'm into computers. I built the app. I understand how computers work. Their algorithm was based on this. They didn't care about the amount because guess what? Look at it from this perspective. I don't make a lot of money off of 19 transactions, but it seems like I'm making more money off of 215. Realistically, you're not. But you can't. A computer doesn't think like that, yo. Man, listen. Anyway, maybe it's just me. Call it overthinking. I went and I look at numbers differently. Just look at this right here. I did more money in July per transaction than I did in October. Hmm. That's why I think honestly, that's why I think it came. And that's over 4 months. So what it boils down to, if I'm honest, the ball is in your court. How aggressive are you going to be with the transactions? That's what I think it is. Michael, shrink them, but do more of them. If you want funding faster, do more transactions. Don't even forget that, y'all, look at the transaction, $19 a month. Look, I'm averaging $19 100. I've been running $199, so it wasn't the $1,000. Literally $19 a month. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, for real. I use $1,000 as an example, but again, and what y'all are learning, y'all are seeing Dwayne analyze and evolve the Stripe process as I get things happen to me. So y'all are seeing this in real time. This is what made me go, when I looked at it, I was like, wait a minute, I know that Heartbeat account ain't been open for 6 months. I know it hasn't. And when they made me the offer, I'm like, wait, 4 months and 27 days? Why did they do it? So then that's when I went and pulled the transaction history. I'm like, y'all gonna have to show me where y'all got your analytics from. And that's what it did. So I'm showing you all that consistency key. So what I think I've gathered so far, if you want funding sooner than 9 months, use it more often. But do it incrementally to show growth. Yes. That's what they've done. That's what it appears like that has taken place. My first transaction with this account, this separate account, I want you to go. My first transaction was July 5th was my first transaction. My first transaction was July 5th. And for them to make an offer already, now, is it $100,000 offer? No, but it's leverage because, again, remember, and here's what blew my mind, and I want y'all to hear me. Here's what blew my mind. That's 2 loans for one company. It's the same company. It's the same operating company. I didn't do nothing different but this, and I'm going to show it to you. Kid you not. My masterclass, when you click enroll now, look what you see. It goes to Heartbeat, which means that I took my masterclass and I let people access it on a different platform versus if I go to services and let's just say somebody wants to buy a LLC, the corp conversion, $199 plus the state fee, right? So you would click this. This is on my website. Like this is actually on my Wix dashboard through my website, Wix. So because I have the class, which allows people to access the training just in a different platform, Stripe created a whole different account. Same overall company. But according to Stripe, look at the very top. Let me make this bigger. Stripe, Heartbeat, Stripe Incorporated. Now, for those who've been watching me for a long time, y'all, let's see who know Dwayne. Now, what you think I'm going to do? Let's see who can take a wild guess. What you think I'm about to go do now? Or I'm going to create another platform for the same company. Yes. Why not? Why not? Mm-hmm. Shit. So I'm teaching you how to go get how to leverage all the other companies, but you can even leverage one company that you have. Like there's the possibilities are endless. The possibilities are endless. And I'm gonna just keep showing up until people realize this is real. So, Michael, I know you're at the 5 month mark. I believe that if you just reduce the amounts, just increase your increments, I think you can get I think you can get the loan sooner. I really believe it based on that. So here's how it's gonna look. Let me just show y'all while I'm on here. And for those that don't know, this is the process. Let me show you. Rinse and repeat. That's it. So when you do get the offer, right? Let's say, and I've done this before, we can go to Capital. They're gonna make you the offer. You hit continue. Once you hit continue, I would do all four, Robert. Annual revenue. I'm putting $1 million. That's how much I process through their account. I process a little over $1 million a year, so I'm just putting $1 million. They know I'm not lying. All the information is there. Continue. Okay, this is my personal information. Hold on. Okay, hold on. It's asking for my personal information. 1 second. And that's because they just need to verify the identity of the representative. Otherwise, you could go on to, apply for a loan saying that you're the owner of Amazon. You know what I'm saying? So 1 second. Okay. I'm back. Sorry. All right. So review business details, continue. Continue. Loan agreement. Do you think it will give you, if it's, Do you think they will give it to you sooner if you don't decrease the amount, but more set? Yeah, I think it honestly, Angelique, it's the amount of transactions. So here you go, right? To get 22, this is the repayment rate. They're gonna take 20% of all of my, et cetera. Payments are due every 60 days. You can't beat that, yo. There's no loan that you can go get that's every 60 days. Everything is net 30, right? Et cetera, et cetera. Nothing more, nothing less. Whoa. What happened? All right. And then submit application. And there you go. As long as the account is in good standings, which I don't have any reserve holds on it, they'll let you know in 1 to 3 days. And once you go to the dashboard, it'll be just like that. And then there you go. What they're going to do is they're going to deposit the money into your Stripe account, deposit your bank account. You ain't got to worry about nothing for 60 days. It's that simple. That simple. If I want to send invoices to different businesses that I have, what steps would you take if it links to me? Convert all of your business. See, you told me that you have 3 LLCs. You got to get rid of all of those. You got to get rid of all of those LLCs. The only way that this works is because they're corporations. And I mean this sincerely. Because the corporations are seen as people by themselves. It removes you completely out the picture. Yep, 100%. And we can help you with that. And to be honest with you, Ms. Kazoo, if you are Mr., I don't know if it's, I can't see, to be honest with you, so please forgive me. Please forgive me. Mr. or Mrs., I apologize. What I am going to say is if you do purchase the legacy builder, these LLC corp conversion fees, we take care of them for you. You don't have to pay any additional fee. So there's 2 ways you can do it. You can come to us to do the LLC to corp conversions. They're regularly $4.99 plus a state fee. We have them on sale for $1.99. But if you do purchase the legacy builder, we're going to go ahead and include that for you as well. I don't teach people how to convert because every state is different, to be honest with you. Yes, for the TIN number. It's a service that we offer because every state operates differently. It's not something that I can teach you because every state operates differently. But I would recommend this, like, and I mean this. The link is here. So once you go to my website here, this is my website. www.macenterpriseconsultant.com. Once you go to my website, it's going to take you to the home page. Once you're on the home page, if you just scroll down just a little bit, right, you can take the option to open one business. You can get the masterclass. You can become a member, get the legacy builder, tax preparation. By the way, Black Friday sale. I'm doing 50% off on all tax returns for 2024. You can pay for that in advance. You might want to take advantage of that. Or you can, if you need a payment plan, you can click payment plan. But either way, the legacy builder is the most value, the most bang for your buck. For those that just say, you know what, Dwayne, I don't know much about it. I would rather just learn it. I'm not in a position to pay, $34.99 or $39.99, even if it was on a payment plan. I'm gonna advise you just, the master class is, there's no other class like it. And I'm not just saying that because it's me. I'm just telling you, I have countless people that'll tell you there's no class like it. It's not just your regular ebook type thing. This is 6 videos where I teach you everything about these structures from top to bottom. No stone left unturned. You will know after taking that class that there was a lot of information that you just didn't know as a business owner. And I mean that wholeheartedly. So with that being said, I do have a meeting that I have to prepare for. I do appreciate everybody for jumping in. I know we called an audible with this. TikTok is apparently letting me out of jail on the 16th. Please be on the lookout for emails. Please be on the lookout for any posts that I make on social media. Please be on the lookout. I have my webinar training today. We're going to start preparing for that. I'm not going to start doing the webinars until December, just because I want to get through Black Friday. But in the meantime, just continue to support, subscribe to the YouTube channel, turn on your notifications, whatever the case is. I know for next time, I'm going to have to turn off, I guess, the commercials. Again, I'm learning a lot. Thank you. I'm learning a lot about the YouTube channel, so we're going to figure it out. There is no interest rates. There is no interest rates on the Stripe loans. They just charge you a flat fee. No interest at all. Man, I tell you that right now, there's nobody beating them on the market. Thank you, Robert. There's nobody beating them. You don't have to wait to get the Black Friday deal. I started the Black Friday deal last week. I'm telling people, jump on it now. Black Friday is now. I started running. Thank you, Teresa. I started the Black Friday sales. Jump on them now. So thank y'all. Have a great day.